So, the challenge. Someone hands me an envelope with 5 mystery words. I have 1 hour to write a story and create artwork. No prep, no editing. My artist friend Katherine took the same challenge. The results, as you will see, they are wildly different. Part 1. Finding my art story. Every picture tells a story. It might be a story of change or metamorphosis, or an atmospheric story with the scent of lemons set on a quiet afternoon, or a memory from long ago, a place in the mountains and the feeling of somewhere spacious and still. So, what will my art story be today? I give myself 5 minutes on the timer to come up with a rough draft for my story, or at least a handful of visuals. My character or avatar is Marcus. The setting is a glacier, and the key object is a compass. My limited color palette for this story will be indigo and coral. So, let's see where this story goes. And in the end, I'll be revealing both my artwork and Katherine's artwork. I won't be showing hers along the way, so her artwork doesn't influence mine. Then I'll reveal both of ours at the end. So I feel like I have enough of a story here, so I'll stop my clock, and I have 2 minutes and 48 seconds left, which I will add to my 55 remaining minutes. Here I've mixed the color palette of indigo and coral along with black and white. Then I've mixed those two together to create the mother color, which I then add a little bit of to the other colors on the palette in order to harmonize them. The next step was to create my collage papers using my limited color palette. Today, I worked with 3 types of paper: old dictionary paper, standard printer paper, and tissue wrapping paper. So the foundation for my artwork is this piece of heavyweight mixed media paper, gessoed on one side, and I use this spray bottle for the gluing of the collage. Also, this Liquitex medium acrylic gel, which works very well. First, I want to say it's okay to change your story midstream. This is, after all, a stream of consciousness writing and art technique, one that welcomes spontaneous thoughts and unexpected shifts in direction. And you're probably wondering why I'm collaging words around the edges of my paper here. This is another one of my changes of direction, along with this next piece, which is a piece of 8.5 by 11-inch cardstock, which I've gessoed, which is going to become another layer in my collage, as you will see. When I sat down to make my collage papers, I realized the story I'd written didn't ring true to my character, and as I began to tap into Marcus, my avatar, it became clear this just wasn't him, the extremely adventurous type, the kind of person who climbs glaciers, compass in hand. I felt Marcus was a gentler soul, and honestly, I think I'm tapping into parts of myself here. Yes, I've had my share of adventurous moments, but never anything as extreme as glacier climbing. So, Marcus Monroe, which is his pen name, by the way, because his real name is so common, so forgettable, that people lose it by the next sentence. Marcus doesn't even use his real name anymore, even in real life, except on his taxes or at the DMV. Marcus is a freelance writer, and his newest gig is writing for a magazine called Unknown Zones. Unknown Zones is a tabloid of sorts, but not for gossip, but for wannabe science geeks and dreamers. In other words, for armchair adventurers, for people who love the thrill of adventures from the comfort of their easy chair. You'd find Unknown Zones on the newsstand right next to all those other tabloids and gossip magazines. But here's the thing, the stories in Unknown Zones aren't real, they're made up. Marcus's job is to write sensationalistic stories about fictitious adventures in places so remote, so far-fetched, that no one would ever investigate, places that exist only in the imagination, which, as any good tabloid knows, is exactly where the best stories live. So we've arrived here at the end of the collage making part, and I'm going to let this dry for a bit, and then we'll move on to the painting part. It looks like I'll have about 26 minutes left on the clock to paint. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of lighting issues here today. It looks a little bit bright. I'm not sure what's happening. I also had some technical difficulties with my collage papers. I pressed them too quickly between two pieces of parchment paper. Some of them stuck. Don't press them until they're dry. Once they're dry, they're very sturdy, but anyway, I repaired them a bit with other pieces of collage paper, which is easy to do. You just glue them on top. So here we go. I have some weird idea in my head, but I'm going to see if I can pull it off. So this is the cover to Volume 1 of Unknown Zones. And the feature article is by Marcus Monroe, Between Glaciers, Exploring the Coral Caves of Antarctica. The story goes, these coral caves were just recently discovered by a group of scientific explorers in the far southern regions of Antarctica, one of the coldest, most remote places on Earth, reachable only by specialized scientific missions. But the team couldn't stay long. Freezing weather disabled their camera gear, preventing them from photographing the caves, which left a powerful impression. Coral-colored walls glowing, covered in mysterious hieroglyphic-like writings. The line I'm tracing on the side of the magazine cover is supposed to resemble the spine of the magazine. So I'm getting close to where my camera cuts off because I'm running out of memory. So I'll photograph my art at the 1 hour mark, and then we'll have the big reveal with my art and with Katherine's art. So back to the beginning, these are the collage papers I used to create my artwork. So here we go, my artwork at the final 1 hour mark, the magazine cover for Unknown Zones, and the cover story, Between Glaciers, Exploring the Coral Caves of Antarctica. And while this might not be a masterpiece, who knows, I might clean it up a bit and put it for sale in my eBay store, because you never know, there might be someone out there who wants to display a painting of an imaginary offbeat magazine cover on their wall. Oh, and here's the copy with the print background. I thought it might look like newsprint and go with the magazine theme, but I think I might like it without. I'm not sure. Let me know your opinion. But seriously, the main purpose of this technique is to help me break out of the fiddly zone, because I can obsess for hours on little details in my artwork, and having a time limit forces me to move fast and intuitively. Sure, if I had more time, I probably would have done a better job on the lettering, but the piece wouldn't be the same because the time limit forced me to get all my ideas down on paper at once without overthinking them or editing my thoughts, as you see. And these are Katherine's collage papers. I think she must have had more yellow tones in her coral, so when it mixed with the indigo blue, it produced these nice green colors. And finally, we have arrived at Katherine's art story. Katherine's story, her Marcus is an experienced glaciologist exploring a little-known glacial region in northern Alaska. During a stunning sunset, he pitched his tent by a lake of melting glacier ice, knowing he would sleep to the comforting and sometimes unearthly thunder of calving icebergs. But something was amiss. When out of habit he checked his compass, the needle wasn't spinning. It was drifting towards a direction that wasn't north. Little did he know he had entered a magnetic vortex, and things were about to get interesting. I like the way Katherine handled her collage papers, cutting them sharply so they look like ice falling away from the glacier and floating in the lake. I also like the way she abstracted the glacier and the sunset, also her perplexed compass image. And as I've said before, these art challenges can serve as rough drafts or brainstorming tools, and sometimes they might even turn out to be a finished piece in the end. So give it a try if you're stuck for ideas, have a time limit, or want to jump straight into the unknown zone. And if you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe and comment if you like.